SpaceX's plans to place over 400 satellites into this polar orbit by year's end indicate a major emphasis on West Coast launches. Achieving this target will require at least 16 launches, each carrying 24 or more satellites. Following Friday night's launch, SpaceX is shifting its focus to a NASA rideshare mission, which will carry the agency's tracers, tandem reconnection and cusp electrodynamics reconnaissance satellites, payload into orbit. Elon Musk's startup company, SpaceX, on Friday added 24 new Starlink satellites to its orbital network on a launch from California, expanding its global network to over 7,900 satellites. The launch, which occurred shortly after sunset, marked the addition of these satellites to the company's growing constellation. Identified as Starlink 17-3, the mission was executed using the Falcon 9 rocket, which lifted off from the Space Launch Complex 4 East at precisely 8:52 p.m. Pacific Daylight Time. SpaceX CEO Elon Musk confirmed that his company would launch the 10th test flight of Starship in approximately 3 weeks, making it the 4th launch of the year for the fully reusable mega-rocket. According to Space.com, the Falcon 9 rocket lifted off at 8:52 p.m. local time, that's 11:52 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, or 3:52 Greenwich Mean Time on July 19, from Space Launch Complex 4 East, at Vandenberg Space Force Base. About 9 minutes into the flight, the booster's upper stage delivered the 24 satellites to space. The flight was on track to deploy the Starlink spacecraft into low Earth orbit an hour later, the report said. SpaceX rocket launch. The Falcon 9 first stage booster used in this mission, tail number B1082, launched for the 14th time. Its previous missions include NRO-145, USSF-62, and OneWeb number 20. A little more than 8 minutes after liftoff, B1082 landed on the droneship Of Course I Still Love You. This marked the 141st booster landing on that vessel and the 477th booster landing to date. SpaceX is also launching satellites into polar orbits to improve connectivity in Alaska and other high-latitude regions. By the end of 2025, SpaceX plans to launch more than 400 additional satellites, doubling opportunities for northern users. In an update posted to its Starlink website on Monday, July 14, SpaceX said that, as part of its plan to further scale up the Starlink network, it intends to deploy hundreds of satellites into a polar orbit to enhance connectivity in regions like Alaska. We plan to launch more than 400 additional satellites to the polar inclination by the end of 2025 alone, SpaceX wrote, which will more than double the capacity for Alaskan customers, as well as other high-latitude locations. The first of these additional satellites have already begun serving Alaskan users, nearly doubling median peak-hour download speeds over the past month. With the latest launch on Friday, designated 17-3, SpaceX has now deployed over 7,965 active Starlink satellites, out of the more than 9,200 launched since 2019. The Starlink network provides broadband internet in areas with limited or no connectivity, and also supports direct-to-cell service for select phones and carriers. The first satellite in this series ties back to the Starlink 17-1 mission on May 27, which also utilized booster B1082 and deployed 24 Starlink V2 mini satellites into a 97-degree inclined polar orbit. SpaceX's plans to place over 400 satellites into this polar orbit by year's end indicate a major emphasis on West Coast launches. Achieving this target will require at least 16 launches, each carrying 24 or more satellites. Following Friday night's launch, SpaceX is shifting its focus to a NASA rideshare mission, which will carry the agency's tracers, tandem reconnection and cusp electrodynamics reconnaissance satellites, payload into orbit.